Today, the poem that we are going to discuss is written by the poet who hails from the land of the rising sun in India, and that is, yes, Arunachal Pradesh. So, Mamang Dai is a Padma Shri and a Sahitya Academy Award winner. So, this poem, Small Towns and the River, has been introduced in your IAS syllabus in the year 2023. So, in 2024, there was one MCQ question from this poem, and this year in 2025 there was again an MCQ question and 5 marks question from it. So if you ask me to rank this poem on the level of difficulty, then I would say it comes third after Tithonus and Beethoven. By the way, if you ask me personally, then all the 5 poems are easy or all the 5 poems are hard, depends on how well you prepare for it. Okay? And if you have not prepared the poems well, don't worry, I am there to help you out. Talking of the poems, then I have uploaded the line by line explanation of the poems Telephone Conversation and Tithonus on my channel Beauty of Language. Rest of the poems are also coming up, and for quick summary and poetic devices, watch the YouTube shorts. For the notes of the poem, visit my website beautyoflanguage.in. After teaching English literature for almost 12 years, I have noticed something very clearly, that students they don't struggle with difficult poem, they struggle with the poems which have very deep meaning, okay, philosophical kind of poems, and this is one of that kind, okay, because it connects childhood, there is death, rituals, nature, soul, all into one. A disclaimer that I'll try to explain the poem in a very simple way and very slowly, okay? So keep taking notes and stay till the end, because I will also be discussing the questions that can be asked in the exam and the main themes of the poem. See if you are actually able to answer the questions or not. And also I'm going to use some specific words which you might not find easy, okay? But since you are watching the video to understand and also to prepare for the exams, so it will be helpful for you to include these words or the phrases in your answer. It always gives weightage to it, okay? And one more thing, if you are new here, then don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that you can get the regular updates. And one more thing, if you don't understand the meaning of any certain word, then do let me know in the comment section. I'll reply to every and each one of them. Now let's start with the poet. So Mamang Dai is a poet, a novelist, journalist and former civil servant from Itanagar, Arunachal Pradesh. She is the author of the Legends of Pensam. The poem Small Town and the River is one of the poems from her poetry book called River Poems. I already mentioned that she received the Sahitya Academy Award in 2017 for her novel The Black Hill, and she was also awarded the Padma Shri in 2011. Now moving ahead, let me give you a bit of an idea about what we are going to deal with today. So Small Towns and the River by Mamang Dai, it's a very thoughtful poem, as I said. It talks about life, it talks about death, it talks about human soul through the poet's memories of her hometown. So it beautifully shows the difference between how short human life is and how everlasting nature and traditions can be. So it makes us think about what really gives meaning to our existence, okay? It explores the themes of life and death through the contrasting imagery, okay? Completely different, opposite imagery of small towns and the river. So there was a question asked in the exam that it carried 5 marks, that how does the poet depict the eternal nature of the river in the poem Small Towns and the River. Now listen to the explanation very attentively, and as I said, see if you can answer these questions or not, and if you want the answers to the questions asked in the previous years or for the questions that can be asked, or you have any questions or any doubt, then comment below, let me know, I'll answer all of them, okay? Now a bit of extra information. More knowledge is never bad, right? So since Mamang Dai is from Arunachal Pradesh, so she might be referring to the small towns in Arunachal Pradesh in this poem, okay? Well, she can refer to any other small town in India as well. So basically, Mamang Dai could be talking about Any town with a river flowing through it. Okay, now moving to the detailed analysis of the poem. Small towns always remind me of death. My hometown lies calmly amidst the trees. It is always the same. In summer or winter, with the dust flying or the wind howling down the gorge. Gorge, you understand, no? A narrow valley between hills or mountains, okay, typically with steep rocky walls and a stream running through it. Okay, so that is a gorge. The poem, it starts with a paradox. Okay, paradox you might have heard, right? It means a situation or a statement with two or more parts that seem strange or impossible together. Okay, for example, like someone says no that you can feel lonely in a crowd. It means that when you, even when you are surrounded by people, you can still feel emotionally disconnected. Okay, so this is what paradox is. The poet says that small towns always remind her of death. Even though she lives surrounded by nature, surrounded by trees, she expresses the timeless and unchanging nature of small towns, okay, especially her own hometown. So the images of dust flying in summer and wind howling in winter, it captures, okay, both the warmth and harshness of the place. And also, which figure of speech has been used here? It is personification, because dust and wind have been given the qualities of humans. Okay, so now in this context you can be asked that explain why the small towns remind the poet of death. See, the dust which is mentioned by the poet in this stanza, it symbolizes two things. Okay, death and decay. It shows how lifeless and stagnant the town feels. Stagnant, you understand, no? एक जगह पे स्थिर रहना. Okay. So also the reference to dust flying also portrays, it also suggests the belief that when people die, they return to dust from which they were created. The next is howling wind. It adds to this atmosphere of sadness and emptiness. Okay, so the first stanza is kind of basically, it is gloomy, adds to the gloominess of the situation. So through this sound, poet creates a gloomy and pessimistic tone. All these together, it sets the stage for a reflection on morality and the cycle of life. Here, which literary device has been used? It is onomatopoeia. It is a figure of speech where sound is expressed using words. These dust flying in summer and wind howling in winter, they also reflect a sense of stillness and stagnation, a life, okay, that feels trapped in repetition. जैसे कि you need to get up every day, for every morning for the school, you need to get ready, then come back, go to tuition, then again come back to home, then study, then watch beauty ma'am's videos. So you can relate to how boring it feels for you, right? कि रोज रोज हम एक ही काम कर रहे हैं, सुबह उठ के स्कूल जाना, स्कूल से वापस आना, वापस आके ट्यूशन जाना, ट्यूशन से वापस आना, फिर पढ़ाई करना. तो एवरीथिंग इट्स काइंड ऑफ it's repeating, but it's still stagnant. Many of you must have even started thinking that भाई जल्दी से 12th खत्म करके बाहर निकलना है ना? सोचते हो ना ऐसा? I am from a small town. Okay, I'm a small town girl. So I myself used to think this, that jaldi se I have to finish 10th and 12th, and I need to go out somehow and get into some good college and then pursue my further studies. Though I was not able to do so due to some reasons. Okay. Anyways, so the poet connects this feeling to death. Now, not as actual dying. Understand? Okay, don't get confused that I'm talking about death, but not as actual dying. समझो बात को. Okay. So, the poet connects this feeling to death, not as actual dying, but as a metaphor for the absence of change, absence of growth, or absence of renewal in small town life. Now you understand what poet is talking about death here? Not actual dying. Metaphor for the absence of change, absence of growth, and the absence of renewal. So in this context, you can be asked here that what mood is established by the first stanza of the poem. Moving ahead to the next stanza. Just the other day someone died. In the dreadful silence we wept, looking at the sad wreath of tuberoses. Life and death, only the rituals are permanent. Now, in this stanza, see, the poet talks about a recent death in the town. So, the death which she perhaps witnessed, or she must have been a part of it. So, in small towns, as you know, that there are very less people, okay, and almost everyone knows every other person. So, she says that when someone dies in a small town, then it seems that the whole town is mourning the death together, okay. Mourning, you understand, no? Shok manana. So this death, it brings everyone together in shared grief. Now seeing the wreath placed on the person's chest makes her think about her own mortality, okay. A reminder that life doesn't last forever. Okay? Wreath, you understand, no? The one which is made to pay homage. So the tuberose flower here is used as a symbol of death that acts like a silent messenger that announces someone's death. So here you can be asked that what does the poet mean by the line considering the cycle of life and death. Now here the phrase is dreadful silence and sad wreath of tuberoses. It shows that the whole community mourns the loss, just as I said now. And in this stanza, you can notice that the words life and death have been repeated. Why has this been done? So it has been done to remind us that existence moves in a continuous cycle where both life and death are natural parts of life, and this repetition is also done to emphasize this fact that life and death is continuous. So in this context, you can be asked that identify and explain the literary device used in sad wreath of tuberoses. The poet points out the rituals, it stays constant even during the times when people don't. And why is it so? Because these rituals have been passed down from one generation to another and will continue to be passed on to future generation. Okay, so these rituals, they become a way for the community to stay connected and find meaning through their collective experiences. The final lines, it expresses her disappointment and weariness, the tiredness that is shaped by witnessing so many deaths in her town. Now you can be asked the essay type question like, discuss how Mamangdai effectively contrasts the transient nature of human existence with the permanence and eternity of nature in the poem. The river has a soul. In the summer it cuts through the land like a torrent of grief. Sometimes, I think it holds its breath, seeking a land of fish and stars. So in the third stanza, what happens is the poet, she draws a contrast. Till now we have seen that the previous stanzas, they were focused on death and mortality. Now this stanza, it celebrates the permanence of the river, okay. So the poet says that the river has a soul. She gives it a sense of life and spirit. She suggests that it's more than just a physical body of water. She says that it's alive and has a spiritual presence. So in this stanza, basically the poet has personified the river. Now here you can be asked, how does the poet justify the idea that river has a soul? During summer, the river flows through the land like a torrent of grief, okay. It carves its way through the land of a small town like massive, unstoppable force of water. It's like it is venting its grief or extreme sorrow. Okay, so it reflects the deep sadness and pain that often comes with death. So it is basically a metaphor where the river's activity is compared with a human being whose heart is filled with grief, and they, means these humans, they pour out their grief in a storm of emotions. Like sometimes it might have happened with you, or you might have seen with someone that when you keep a few of the feelings suppressed, okay, suppose you felt bad about something, you kept it suppressed, you didn't express it. वो जो दुख वाली feeling अगर आप suppress रखते हो, there comes a time when you just flip out and express yourself as if you're going to vent out everything, every single thing. So in the same way, the poet has tried to portray here through the river. Now again in this one, the poet has used repetition that sometimes, and also she again personifies the river, just as I said, she imagines it as if it is breathing, it is searching, pausing, holding its breath, and exploring almost like a living being on a journey. So the line where she says that the river is looking for the land of fish and stars, okay, it beautifully shows its endless movement and purpose. Okay, it symbolizes the river's journey towards a higher spiritual realm, connecting the earthly and the divine. So through this imagery, the poet, she portrays the river as a symbol of continuity and eternal flow. Moving on to the next stanza. The river has a soul. It knows, stretching past the town from the first drop of rain to dry earth and mist on the mountain tops. The river knows the immortality of water. Okay. So this stanza, it begins with a refrain again, where she repeats a line which she has used in the third stanza, that the river has a soul. So these lines, once again, it emphasizes the river's soulful nature. Okay, so it is not just a natural element but a living, conscious presence. It suggests that it carries a kind of ancient wisdom within it. And I would say that yes, river and everything, these natural elements have been here on this earth a lot before the humans existed on this earth. So here you can be asked at what is the significance of the river knowing the immortality of water. So here the river seems to understand everything around it. Okay, it knows the towns where death touches lives, the first drop of rain that brings the land back to life, and the mist that wraps around the mountains like a scarf. Form of river, it changes, but it never ceases to exist. Understood? It lives on and reflects the idea of immortality. Now, through this, the poet shows how the river represents eternity, how the river represents renewal. Okay, so it reminds us that some forms of life, it never end. They simply transform and continue. So she gives the river a divine and eternal quality, turning it into a symbol of life, symbol of wisdom and continuity that stands beyond human mortality. Understood? I hope you are able to understand till now. Okay, so the poet shows again here a contrast between the static nature of small towns and the ever-moving nature of a river. Can be asked in the exam the essay type question that analyze the river as a central metaphor in the poem, explaining how it represents themes of continuity, grief, memory and spiritual connection. Moving on to the next stanza. A shrine of happy pictures marks the days of childhood. Small towns grow with anxiety for the future. The dead are placed pointing west. When the soul rises, it will walk into the golden east, into the house of the sun. Okay, so now in this stanza, the poet, she recalls her childhood and calls it as a shrine or sacred space which is filled with joy, which is filled with purity and freedom from all the burdens. Okay, she kind of feels nostalgic about it, but as time moves forward, the atmosphere of the small town, it gradually becomes clouded with what? Clouded with the anxieties about the future and what's going to happen next. So this presents a very sharp contrast with the innocent past and innocent childhood, where no one you have never seen a child worried about his future, right? You can you must have never seen a 5-year-old child talking about he's going to do after 12 to 13 years. So the people of the small towns, they are worried about the future of their place. Why they are worried? They are worried about the beauty of their towns and the threat to survival faced by their traditions, threat faced by their customs and rituals because of the impact of modernization. So here you can be asked that explain the cultural belief or custom of the Adi tribe reflected in these lines. Okay, the poet here also gives some examples of rituals which is practiced in small towns. Okay, she mentions that a ritual of placing the dead with their head pointing westwards. Now, why is it done so? It is done so that when their soul rises, it would go towards the golden east, which means heaven. So it is a journey towards a new beginning which represents the eternal cycle of day and night. She celebrates the rich culture. She celebrates the rituals of the northeast region. Okay, so the house of the sun is a kind of it is actually a metaphor for enlightenment. It's a metaphor for heaven or an afterlife where the soul finds its ultimate peace and or even immortality. Now here you can be asked that what does the house of sun symbolize? So however, the poet also expresses the feeling of sadness because these rituals and traditions that have been carried forward since time unknown are threatened by what? Just as I said, it is threatened by modernization. That is why she says that small towns grow with anxiety for the future. Okay, so through this poem, the poet in fact tries to secure these rituals against the waves of time. So the northeastern tribal communities have actually largely followed passing down their myths, their folklores, conventions and beliefs from one generation to another, and there is no written literature, okay, or anything like that. But this poet Mamang Dai, she tries to recall those memories from her shrine of happy pictures, and she tries to make her memory more permanent by giving it a written form in the form of this poem. In the cool bamboo restored in sunlight, life matters like this. So this stanza, it has a more positive and optimistic tone in comparison to the previous stanzas. Okay, she mentions about the bamboo plants, probably because she's from Arunachal Pradesh and you know that it grows abundantly there. Okay, so she says that the bamboo plant, it is cool. It has a special quality of being able to cool the surrounding air. Okay, now this bamboo that cools the surrounding air, it can be revived or it can be restored to good health by exposing it to sunlight. Now here you can be asked that explain the symbolism of cool bamboos and sunlight. So the bamboo here has been used as a metaphor for the human body, or you can say for life itself, which needs an external source to gain meaning. Just as bamboo is warmed and revitalized by sunlight, life receives its depth and vitality from something which is beyond the physical. And what is that? It is the soul that gives human body life, meaning and purpose. Okay, so this sunlight here, it symbolizes the spirit or an inner essence. So here you can be asked that what message about life is conveyed in these lines. Next, the last two lines of the poem. In small towns by the river we all want to walk with the gods. So in the final lines, the poet, she suggests that the people of the small town, they crave a higher, more peaceful form of existence because they live beside the river which is a symbol of what? Continuity and spiritual presence. Okay, so these people, they hope to rise above their ordinary lives and connect with something divine. If not in their present lives, then in the afterlife, that is after death. So this brings together the poem's ideas about life, death and the hope of for an afterlife. Now, as you can notice that the poem started on a very gloomy note, okay, and a pessimistic tone, but then ended on an optimistic note. So this stanza also refers to pantheism. Now, what is pantheism? See, it is the belief that God and the universe are the same, and God exists in all natural things. So when the poet says that people in small towns want to walk with the gods, she means being very closely connected with nature. Okay, so people in small towns, they live together and they connect with God. Through what? They connect with God through the rivers, through the trees, through the mountains, through the fish, stars, and every being and entity that forms the part of this natural world, that is an inseparable part of their lives. Okay, and the very existence of people in small towns. So now you can be asked in the exam like it's a type question that justify the appropriateness of the title Small Towns and the River, considering the central themes and imagery presented in the poem. Now, as I promised you all earlier that at the end I'll also discuss the main themes of the poem. तो वो घड़ी आ चुकी है. So the first theme that is presented through the poem is life versus death and mortality. Okay, so small towns are shown as places where life feels slow and death is common, and this creates a kind of very sad atmosphere, while the river, it represents eternal life by flowing endlessly. Next is nature and spirituality. So the river is shown as a living spiritual force that gives life and connects humans to something greater, unlike the small towns that are focused on temporary human worries. Okay, छोटी मोटी चीजों में जो उलझे हुए हैं लोग. Next is tradition versus modernity. So the poem, it also expresses sadness over how modernization is slowly destroying traditional rituals and oral traditions, putting the cultural identity of small towns at risk. Okay. Next is memory and identity. So the river, it carries memories, and the poem shows how the poet's bond with her homeland and its rituals shapes her identity and creates worries about the future. Okay. Next is human experience and nature's power. So the poem, it shows how humans struggle within the powerful world of nature, okay, using strong images of the river as both destructive and life-giving. So that was all about the poem Small Towns and the River. For the rest of the poems of the ISC Class 10 Rhapsody book, you can head over to my channel, Beauty of Language. You can find the videos on the line well and explanation of the other poems as well. And for the short summary and poetic devices, watch the shorts on my channel. And for all this, what will you have to do? Yes, you'll have to subscribe to my channel for more updates. See you in my next video. Till then, bye-bye. Take care.